Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mark with Spiguyver Backpacking. I am in Edmond Park tonight out here at Arcadia Lake, and I decided to come out here and do a little bit of camping. I was going to go out and do some backpacking this weekend. However, an opportunity arose tomorrow evening that I couldn't pass up. So I'm headed out to the OU Sooners football game tomorrow night, playing Texas Tech. So I'm going to go check that one out. Going there with some people from work. So didn't want to miss that, so I decided I would still get some camping in. It's 48 degrees right now, and it's supposed to get down to about 29 tonight. So the first freeze of the year here and the first really cold night. I'm just now getting here, haven't got anything set up yet, and the sun is going down, as you can see behind me right there. But I've got a great site right here along the lake. A little bit of a costly, a little expensive night out here, but you know what the heck, I'll get out here and do this. I am the only person in this entire campground. So I'll spin around this way, I'll let you see over there. Nothing, no one over there. Spin back around this way. More sites behind me and up that way, and not a single person here. So I have a perfect spot. I'm going to set up between this tree and that tree. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and then we'll talk. All right guys, so I have my hammock set up. I've got my new underground Quilts tarp kind of slung up. It's staying up in the snake skin. It's the hammock gear sleeve. It's the mesh sleeve. So I've got it up there, just kind of stowed for the night. I don't know whether or not I'm going to use it tonight. It's showing a 0% chance of rain. I'm not too concerned with the rain. But what I do have that I wanted to show you guys is the new underground Quilts Zeppelin. And that thing is nice and fluffy, 20-degree underquilt. And inside is the Bandit. And I got it in colors that you can't miss. That lime green is awesome. So the underquilt is 20 degrees with a 850 fill power down. It's the Ultima down. And the Bandit is 800 fill power. Both of them are goose down. And it's got the insulated foot box. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. It's the sewn foot box, insulated foot box. With it getting down to 29 degrees tonight, with these being 20-degree quilts, usually that's the border, that's kind of the boundary where you start to get a little bit uncomfortable using a quilt. So it'll be a good test for it tonight. And I'm actually hoping, being right here on the water, the breeze will pick up a little bit later tonight, and I'm hoping it actually dips down a little bit lower than that so that I can really put this thing to the test. But, you know, sunset just a little while ago, right here on the water. It's going to be a gorgeous night. I have not had dinner yet. I brought out the QiWiz little stove, the little Thai stove that I did the test on. So I'm going to light that thing up tonight. I got to go look around, grab some twigs, some sticks, and get that thing fired up so that I can get some dinner going, because I'm kind of hungry, and the longer I wait, the darker it's going to get and the harder it's going to be for me to find some fuel. So let me do that, and then I'll get back with you guys. All right, so for tonight, for dinner, I've got another one of the paleo meals to go. This one is the mountain beef stew. Now, I didn't bring any salt or anything to spice it up. I've got the wood stove going right here. I just kind of fired it up, getting it ready to go. Got a nice spot here, but I'm gonna try this one tonight. And I went on the higher end. I know that last time it was a little bit watery. The last meal that I did, the curry, actually no, it was the chili, it was a little bit watery when I went with the higher end of what it recommends for the water. But what I've also done is I brought some Idahoan instant mashed potatoes. So if it ends up too watery, I'm gonna add those into the mix and just add a little extra something to this, a little bit more fuel for the fire, if you will. So I'm gonna get this thing going, and I'll come back and let you guys see it when it's done, if I can see still. Good morning. Wow. I actually slept really well last night. I think I woke up maybe twice, but it wasn't because I was cold. Just kind of one of those things. I had to wake up every once in a while. Same thing happens anytime I'm in a bed. So, but with it being first night that it got that cold, I mean, it was below 30 before I actually went to bed. So by like 11 o'clock, it was like 29 degrees. I don't know what it got down to overnight. I'll have to check. I would say probably 27, 28. Who knows? But I stayed toasty warm in these quilts. Man, it really was nice. It took me probably 5 or 6 times getting out of the hammock. Normally what I do is I will set up the underquilt at home. I'll lay in it with the camera kind of filming outside so I can see where the gaps are, where it's pulling too much. But I didn't do that this time. And so I had to get up about 5 times and go out and make small adjustments, just to get it so that it was sitting exactly where I wanted it, so there were no gaps, so it was still underneath me. But once I got it adjusted, it was great all night long. Both the top and under quilt worked great. I mean, you can see this. It's fluffy. It's got a good feel to it. It's just a nice quilt. I'm happy that I've got this one. Well, both of them, actually. That full length under quilt, that's the way to go once it starts getting, for anything a 30 degree or under, for an underquilt, I like to have it full length, and this underground quilt Zeppelin is perfect for that. So I guess I'm gonna try and get up, get out of bed, and get out of the hammock, go start up the fire for a breakfast. I'm gonna try, this will be my first attempt with the QiWiz Firefly stove, to do a little bit of dry baking on it. So give that a shot today, see how it goes. But getting up means getting out of these warm quilts. So I don't know. That's not very tempting. So I'm going to make an attempt today to use this little QiWiz wood stove, which I cooked dinner on last night, to do some dry baking. So I've got some muffin mix up there. I'm going to go ahead and get it all kind of going and see what we can come up with. As I'm getting stuff out this morning, my water bottle has kind of collapsed, and there's ice. It's kind of slushy, but there's definitely ice in the top of it right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's definitely ice at the top. Just shows that it did get down pretty cool. It's actually showing right now. Let's see what's the temperature that it's showing for right this second. So it is 8:17. We're showing 27 degrees. So like I said, it probably get down around 27 last night, maybe a little bit cooler given the fact that it's 27 right now. The best way I found to light a fire in one of these stoves is I stack all the wood inside vertically like this. Then I have my little tinder bundle here with small sticks on top, so I get a fire going on top, and then it burns down and it gasifies and it keeps it going really well. So far, of the different ways that I've tried with wood stoves like this, that seems to work the best and burn the best for me. So give it a try if you haven't tried it before. I seem to like that. One of the other things that I'm using out here this trip, it's the first time I've used them in a long time, are these. These are my Sierra Designs insulated boots. They're really just like a suede leather padded bottom and then just down. And they're only low top deals, but I bought these when I used to do a bunch of winter camping when I lived out in California up in the Sierras. I'd go out, and these things were great around camp. So broke them out knowing that it was going to be below freezing tonight, and man, it's nice getting in these things and just kind of walking around. Had to get up and do a pee break in the middle of the night, threw these on, and they're just nice and warm. Okay, so I just lit the stove, so we're going to let this thing get going. I again don't have a spacer with me, so I put 3 little pebbles, just little tiny pebbles, down in the bottom of this. Just spaced them out in like a triangle pattern. I also didn't bring anything to mix up my muffin mix in, so I just mixed it in here, which means it'll probably stick, but that's okay. As long as we bake it right, it should separate from the sides. So we'll figure that out. We'll see whether or not that works. But actually, I'm gonna take the top off of that. Let it bake all the way around. So I position it in there so that there's a gap all the way around, like that. And then I will throw this lid on. I'm gonna let this burn down. So I'll let this burn down enough that I can put this on, and then I will let it get down to where it's kind of coals and not so much flame, to kind of regulate the heat a little bit, and then slowly throw little chunks of wood in to spark a little bit of a flame, but not much, and just kind of let it cook. Probably be somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes. Just have to keep checking, coming back to it. So that's what I'm going to try. All right, so here we are. I've got the camera outside, so we got a double view. So one of the cool things last night that I was able to do was lay in here, and while I was in here, watch some videos. And that's the setup that allowed me to do that. So that is the Hang Time Ridgeline media system. You guys have seen me show it in the mail call video, but it puts your phone in a great position, so you're just lay down, neck's not strained, just looking up at it, getting to watch a video or read a book, or just have it up there listening to some audio. Now what I've also done is right here I have my Ridgeline organizer, and here is my battery pack with my cord. So if I slide this down near the phone, I can plug it in and have it charging while I'm watching it, so that I don't have to worry about battery. Worked out really well last night. I watched a couple of videos and then went to bed, and it was just kind of cool to be able to do that without holding it or anything. You know, so I was completely curled up in my nice downy goodness here, arms underneath, and no issues whatsoever. So that was really, yeah, I think it's a pretty cool system. It's pretty lightweight. We'll throw it on the scale and get a look at what the weight on that thing is, but really pretty cool invention, pretty cool idea. I like it. So I've been wanting to do a muffin, a little bit of dry baking on this, just to see how it would work, if I could actually get it done. So that's part of the reason I'm out here doing it today. The other part was yesterday on Facebook, Ben Moreno had posted up a picture of some dry baking he had done on an alcohol stove. He'd made a sleeve to keep the temperature down, to keep the flame pattern down, and it looked awesome. And so I've been craving a muffin ever since I saw that video, or saw the photo of what it was he did. Now, hopefully this one turns out as nice. I don't think it's going to, because I didn't grease the pot, and I had to mix up the mix in there, so I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of sticking going on, but we're going to see if we can make this work anyway. So, keep this thing going. So I keep throwing some extra sticks in to stoke it. We are at 20 minutes, so I want to check the muffin again. I haven't looked, so let's see what we've got going on. Okay, so it is definitely rising. Looks like it's starting to separate from the sides a little bit, which is good since I didn't add any grease or oil or anything to keep it loose from the sides. Okay, so I finished up the muffin. The very, very top of it wasn't quite finished. It caved in when I got it out, but it actually came out really well. The bottom is just a golden. It's not dark whatsoever. It's cooked all the way through the center. Like I said, the very top, I think with the cold, with the wind blowing on it, it just didn't get quite the oven effect that it could have. But not a whole lot stuck in my pot. I fired I stoked up the stove again, threw a bunch of sticks in there, and I've got some water that should be pretty close to boiling so I can get some coffee going. I've got my instant coffee in here. So I'm gonna get that, hit this muffin, and have a good breakfast. So here we go, guys. I've got my cup of coffee and a muffin. So I've got the top of the muffin here. You can see inside it's actually baked completely through and is really good. It was just the very top. You can see right here it was still a little bit moist and runny. Triple berry, no, wild berry muffin. Super tasty. Taster's choice, like 20 cents for a packet. In a pinch it'll do. So hey guys, I have been wanting to get out for a few weeks now and just haven't had the chance. I really thought this weekend was going to be the chance I got to go out, do some backpacking, but other things came up and I decided yesterday I'm just going to go do this. I'm going to go get out and get an overnighter in, and I'm really glad I did. You know, I was nervous that, oh man, it's going to be cold. Am I going to sleep well? I actually slept really, really well. These quilts, this Bandit top quilt, you can just see how fluffy and it's just, I don't know, it's something about it is really nice. The Zeppelin underquilt, like I said, it took me a little bit of adjusting to get it right, but once I got it right, man, it just it was warm and I didn't have any cold spots. It was perfect for last night, considering it got down to at least 27 degrees, maybe even cooler than that. It's a 20-degree set. I would have expected to at least get a little bit of a chill. Usually within that 10-degree range, you start feeling a little bit of a chill. So 30 degrees for a 20-degree, you start to feel something where it's not quite toasty. I was actually warm all night long. The only part of me that ever got cold was my nose, and I would just pull this up, my batch stove's buff, just up over my nose, and it took care of it. The quality of everything I've got out here with me is just amazing. These cottage vendors are awesome. They've all stepped up their game and are doing things that are just wonderful. I don't know what else to say about that. The Dream Hammock Darien, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to find. You know, I've laid in a couple times and I wasn't sure with the underquilt, because it does change things when you have the underquilt on there, how well I was going to be able to find that spot. With it being wide, I wasn't sure how a normal underquilt was going to work under it. Maybe I needed a wide underquilt to go with the wide hammock. But actually, when I got the underquilt adjusted right, when I got into that sweet spot and found the groove, dude, the underquilt just kind of hugged me and laid there underneath me and ended up being about perfect. The only thing I would change is I still have to make a couple of adjustments. I had the end cinched up a little too tight. I've adjusted it this morning, and what that was doing was pulling it off of my shoulder slightly. I've experimented laying in it this morning with it looser, and it seems to stay up on my shoulder. So I don't think that's going to be a problem going forward. Weren't any bugs out with it being so cold last night, but if there were bugs, this thing would have been great. I had the tarp with me. The tarp is strung up, but there was no need to use it last night. Not a cloud in the sky today. I got to enjoy a half moon last night and some stars, so you know, it was a good night. And then, like I said, I had the hang time Ridgeline media device up there, so I was able to watch some shows and watch some videos and check some things out while I was laying in here. And had I been near other people, I probably would have thrown my headphones in. But since I'm the only one in this park today or last night, I decided I would just do it the way I was doing it and let that roll. And it was good. I had the Paleo Meals to Go beef stew, mountain beef stew, I think was the name of it. And it was pretty good. Didn't quite have the flavor complexity that I was looking for. The chili was much better in that aspect. But again, just the meat cubes. It had celery, carrots, and a couple other things in there. Such a fresh tasting meal. All the meals I've had from them just really taste fresh. Like a lot of care was put into them, and they're all made of fresh ingredients and probably done in pretty small batches to get them that way. What I will say is that still it lacked salt. It lacked a little something extra. I was going to add some of my Idahoan mashed potatoes. I think that would have been a good add. I think that's one thing that one is probably missing. It doesn't have any potato or anything in it, and I think the potato would have given it just that extra kick, that extra something to put it over the edge. And then, of course, some more and probably more robust seasonings than what they use. They only use sea salt. Primarily sea salt was the component for any spices in it. Anyway, guys, I had a great meal last night. Was able to use the QiWiz Firefly this morning and show that I could bake with it. Now, it wasn't the perfect muffin, but it was edible. It tasted good. It was not burnt. So I'll take slightly undercooked on the top, because through the middle it was absolutely perfect. Slightly undercooked on the top and not burnt, overburnt, any day of the week, anytime. It did take a little bit longer. It took about 40 minutes to bake that one. But it is slightly breezy out here, and it is a cold morning. So your results may vary. Depends on the weather, the conditions, the environment. All of that does play an effect on how well things operate and how they work. But, man, it was a good night. I am extremely comfortable laying here right now. There's a little bit of a breeze, but because of the underquilt kind of on me and the sun coming from behind, I am warm. It feels nice. I'm very relaxed right now. This was my first chance to get out and really use these quilts, test them out with the Darien, and I think I've got to say it was a good success. I might even try and see if I can find a night where it's going to get down to 20 and see if I could use these guys and stay warm. And I may have a backup set of 0 degree, but I think I want to try and see how low I can push them. You know, if you don't test them out in a semi-controlled environment, then when you get out into the real thing, how are you going to know how far you can take them? So it's important to know. It's important to test your gear. Guys, I thank you for joining me. I know this wasn't a big backpacking trip where we got to go and see a lot of sights, but I enjoyed myself coming out here, setting up, being able to hang out here by the lake, do some cooking with the wood fire stove, and test out some gear that I haven't had a chance to get out yet. I will see you guys down the trail.